I'm the last one standing at a party that ended years ago. Everyone I loved is gone. Everyone I hated is gone. My husband went first, then my sister, then my closest friends, one by one, the ones I thought would outlive us all. Then my doctor of 30 years, then the specialist he sent me to, then the nutritionist my daughter swore by. And before every single one of them left, they asked me the same question. What's your secret, Evelyn? How are you still here? I always gave them the same answer. Good food, clean living. And I believed it. But here's what I kept noticing. The ones who ate perfectly, who walked every morning, who took every vitamin on the counter, they left just as fast as the ones who didn't. So what was the real difference? I've had a lot of time to sit with that question, and I'll give you the clean food answer too, because it matters, and I'll get to it. But if I stopped there, you'd leave with the same thing everyone already told you. The part that changed things for me had nothing to do with what I put on my plate. I'll come back to what it actually was. First, let me tell you who I am and why any of this is worth your time. My name is Evelyn. I am 109 years old. I live alone in the same house I've lived in for over 50 years. I cook my own meals. I tend a small herb garden out back. My great-granddaughter set up this little camera because she said people needed to hear what I had to say. I wasn't sure about that, but I thought, who better to talk about kidneys than someone whose kidneys have been working faithfully for over a century? Now let me tell you where I was 19 years ago, because the contrast is what I think will mean something to you. I was 90 years old, and I was miserable every night. Not the way people say when they mean mildly uncomfortable. I mean waking up 4 times, 5 times, shuffling to the bathroom in the dark, hoping I didn't catch my foot on anything. Back to bed. An hour later, up again. By morning, I wasn't rested. I was just done waiting for daylight. My ankles were swollen by evening. My legs felt like they belonged to someone heavier than me. There was a dull ache in my lower back that never fully left. It just lived there, like an unwelcome house guest who had stopped pretending to be temporary. I was tired all the time because I never got real sleep. And being tired all the time made everything harder and smaller and further away. I went to my doctor, a kind man who genuinely meant well. He told me waking at night was common in older adults. Fluid retention was normal. Things slow down. He was gentle about it, thorough about it. And I sat in that office and thought, I am not going to accept this as the final answer. I never have been someone who accepts this is just how it is. My mother said I came into the world already pushing back. So I went home and started paying attention. Not to a program, not to something I read in a magazine, just paying very close attention to what was happening in my own body and what I was giving it and what I was withholding from it. That's when I thought about my neighbor, Frances. Frances was not a doctor. She had no credentials and would have laughed if you suggested she needed any. She was 83 years old, sharp as a pin, and she had a garden that put mine to shame. We used to sit on her back porch in the evenings, and she would talk about plants the way other women talked about their grandchildren, with pride, with specifics, with opinions about which ones were being underestimated. One evening, she made me a warm drink before I went home. I didn't ask what was in it. I just drank it. That night, I slept 3 hours in a row without waking. I hadn't done that in months. Frances passed 2 winters later, but I remembered that drink. I started making my own version. Warm water, not hot. A small measure of raw apple cider vinegar. Fresh ginger, grated fine. A little raw honey. Sometimes a few leaves of fresh parsley from just outside my back door. 30 minutes before bed, sitting in the same chair I always sit in. I did not expect much. I was 90 years old and I had been disappointed by expectations before. Within about 3 months, something had shifted. I was sleeping through the night more often than not. Not every night at first, but enough nights that I noticed. Enough that I started waking up and realizing I had slept, really slept, without interruption. By 6 months, the swelling in my ankles had eased. The heaviness in my legs had lifted. That ache in my lower back had softened from something sharp and persistent into something I could almost ignore. Now let me tell you what I came to understand about why. Your kidneys do their deepest work while you sleep. During the day, they are managing everything coming in. But at night, when your body quiets down, your kidneys get to focus on something different: recovery, the slow clearing of what has been sitting too long. Most people go to bed giving their kidneys nothing useful to work with. Or worse, they go to bed having just asked their kidneys to handle one more thing. That nighttime window, 6, 7, 8 hours, is either a repair window or it is not. What you put in before bed is what decides. The apple cider vinegar. I grew up thinking vinegar was for salad dressings and cleaning counters. I did not grow up thinking of it as something that could change how I slept. But inflamed kidneys cannot filter the way they are supposed to. They hold on to fluid instead of releasing it. That is where the swelling comes from. That is where the nighttime pressure comes from. That is where the heaviness in your legs comes from. What I came to understand was that the vinegar was working against that inflammation, quietly and consistently. Not all at once, but over weeks and months of giving it something to do every single night. One evening will not change anything. A year of evenings will change everything. The ginger. Your kidneys carry whatever your blood is carrying. When your blood is running cleaner, your kidneys are carrying less load. It is that simple. I think about ginger the way I think about sweeping a floor. You do not sweep once and consider the problem solved. You sweep every day and the floor stays clean. And eventually you stop noticing because nothing is ever getting bad enough to notice. But stop sweeping and within a week you can see what you are doing for yourself. The kindness of ginger is that it is invisible when it is working. You only understand what it was doing when you stop. The parsley. This one surprised me most. I had grown it for years outside my kitchen door and thought of it as something you put on food to make it look finished. What I did not know was that parsley works as a gentle push for your kidneys. It encourages them to release what they have been holding, not by force, not by shocking anything, the way a good friend tells you something you already knew, but needed to hear out loud. That nighttime pressure I used to wake from repeatedly, that had been fluid sitting and signaling. The parsley helped my body let it go during sleep instead of waking me to deal with it. The honey. I want to be honest. I almost left the honey out when I started. It seemed like a small thing, but your body responds differently to what it receives when it is not bracing against it. The honey is what tells your body this is not a threat. And a body that is not bracing relaxes into the night differently. Your kidneys work in a very different way when the rest of you has been told everything is all right. The honey is that signal, small, embarrassingly small, but it matters. I went back to my doctor about a year after I started. A different doctor. The first had retired. She looked at my numbers and was quiet for a moment, in a way that caught my attention. My kidney function markers, which had been tracking downward for years the way they do in older adults, had come back up, not dramatically, but measurably, in the wrong direction for someone my age, which is to say the right direction. She asked me what I had been doing. I told her about the drink. She wrote something down. Then she said, "I don't fully understand this, but whatever you're doing, keep doing it." I have not forgotten the look on her face. That look told me something. Not just that the drink was working. It told me that I had given my kidneys something they had not had in years. A real chance to recover during the hours they were supposed to be recovering. And they had taken it. I want to say something now that I almost left out. I got things wrong in the years before Francis's porch. For a long time I thought sleep was just rest. I did not think of it as the time my body was doing its actual repair work. I thought if I ate well and kept moving, I had done my part. I had not. I was spending decades sending my kidneys into the night with nothing to work with, and wondering why things were getting harder. That cost me something. I do not know exactly what, but I know that what I started at 90 gave me back something I had been slowly losing for years before that. Your body wants to heal. That is not something I say to comfort you. It is something I have watched happen slowly and stubbornly for 19 years from the inside. The kidneys are not fragile. They are remarkably patient. They do not forget how to do their work. They simply need you to stop making it harder than it has to be, and to start making it easier in small, repeated, faithful ways. You are not too old to start. I started at 90. Give it 3 months. Give your kidneys the nighttime window and the right preparation and the patience that real repair requires. Be as consistent as your kidneys have been with you, every day, without drama, without deciding it is not working before it has had time to work. The drink is simple: warm water, raw apple cider vinegar, fresh ginger, raw honey, parsley if you have it, 30 minutes before bed. Nothing complicated, nothing expensive, nothing your great-grandmother would not have recognized. My name is Evelyn. I am 109 years old. This morning I woke up at 6, made my coffee, set the second cup down on the table the way I used to when my husband was alive, and watched it sit there until it went cold. Then I went out to the garden for a few minutes and watched the light come through the kitchen window. Then I sat down in this chair. Tonight, like every night for 19 years, I will make my drink, sit quietly, finish it slowly, and go to sleep. The nights are not in your way. The nights are where the healing happens.